Hello YouTube, this is Dark Emissary 617, and today I'm going to be doing a video that is kind of overdue. I was supposed to do this after I got this last guy, but I kind of took a break on these videos, which I feel very upset about, because I love this series so much, so I'm going to do it now. If you can still find these in stores, I highly recommend you pick up these. This is going to be my list on the top 6 Skylanders that you should pick up for Skylanders Superchargers. Now, before we begin, I am aware of the fact that Skylanders Superchargers was kind of poorly received and is arguably deemed the worst in the series, but I for one still think the game is kind of unappreciated. It's still fun, just not as good as the other ones, I'll admit. So, let's begin the list. To start off with, I say 6 because I have all the characters for Superchargers, but I only wanted to do a list on the new characters, not so much the reimagined characters. To start off with, I'm gonna have number 6, Diveclops, and his vehicle, the Dive Bomber. Diveclops here is a water Skylander, and is the brother of Eyebrow back from Giants. And I like him. He's pretty cool. He shoots torpedoes out of his gun, and he can shoot water from his eye, and he can even send out these sonar waves. And he's a pretty fun character. And he's got a sea vehicle, the Dive Bomber, which is a submarine. I like him. He's pretty cool. His vehicle has the feature of, you turn the valve at the top, it spins back and forth, kind of. That's cool. So, that's Diveclops and the Dive Bomber. For number 5, the next character I recommend would be, let me think here. Astro Blast and his vehicle, the Sunrunner. So, Astro Blast here is a light character. He's alright. He's a little boring. All he does is kind of just shoot lasers out of his gun, and he could send like meteors at enemies. Like he could shoot like these little disco ball rocks and shoot them with his ray gun, and he has like a space moon kind of kick, which is pretty nice, but yeah, he's a pretty boring character, to be honest. But he's still cool, because he is a light character. You can see the light element on his Rift engine. He's a pretty cool character. And his sky vehicle is the Sunrunner. It's a UFO kind of thing with a sun motif, which is cool. It doesn't have any moving parts, which is kind of a letdown. And to get him, you have to get him in the Sky Pack vehicle set. But I still recommend you should pick him up anyway, because he's cool, and light, dark characters are pretty hard to come by, to be honest, since they only were introduced since Trap Team. For number 4, I'm going to pick Smash Hit, and his vehicle, the Thump Truck. Smash Hit is said to be a Warsupial, and he is the Earth element. He has this giant chain ball that is attached to his back with the chain there just wrapped around the pulley thing in the back. And he's a pretty cool character. Very tiny, but the ball is a little hollow, which I don't like. And I wish the boulder was painted. But the bluish gems, crystals just popping out on the side is pretty awesome. He has one green eye and an eye patch. And he has cleats on, because he has the spiky shoes, as you can see. His moveset's pretty cool. He swings his ball chain around, he can slam it down, and he also has a chain attack where he can actually grab enemies, and of course has the ability to drop the ball and detach it from the chain, and can reattach it at will. He's a pretty fun character, and his Earth vehicle is the Thump Truck. It's a culmination of like a bunch of different things, like construction vehicles and monster trucks and a cement mixer. It has these giant wheels that roll, and has these giant engines that pipes just coming out from the sides. There's the driver's seat and the cement mixer on the back. So it's a very cool vehicle. Now, so I do recommend you should pick him up. He's a pretty cool character. For number 3, I recommend is Turbocharged Donkey Kong and his Barrel Blaster. I got mine through the Wii U Starter Pack, and you can also get them through the Combo Pack that they made individually outside of the Starter Pack. But quick warning and disclaimer, he will only work on Nintendo consoles and handhelds, so he only works on the Wii, the Wii U, and the 3DS, so yeah, just quick word of caution there. Donkey Kong is pretty cool. He's just standing on his one hand in this pose with the barrel on top on his shoulder. He has a big grin on him as always, and the DK tie is just right there around his neck. And he has the life element on him. The coolest thing about this guy is he works as a Skylander and an amiibo. Right now he's set on Skylander, but all you have to do is turn the knob, the base, and it switches to amiibo. Or amiibo. And you can just switch it back to Skylander at will anytime. So he doubles as an amiibo and a Skylander. So he's a pretty cool figure. He can hit with his barrels and he can slam down on them, and he has like this super ability where he gets stronger and he throws barrels too, and he can shoot out of them as well, so he's a pretty fun character. And for my number 2 character for Superchargers is Fiesta and his Crypt Keeper. By the way, I forgot it's a land vehicle, same with the thump truck. And the wheels kind of roll pretty nicely too. The back one not as much, but still rolls pretty nicely. So on to Fiesta himself. I like this guy because he's like based on the island, the land of the dead, the Day of the Dead kind of thing. So he has a very Mexican vibe out of him. He has this horn that shoots music notes that hurt enemies, and he can shrink down to like a skull and do this burst attack, just popping out of nowhere, and he can summon little amigos that attack with little instruments and does damage to enemies. He's a pretty cool guy. I like him. He's an undead element character, and his land vehicle is the Crypt Crusher, which is pretty cool. Meant to say Crypt Crusher before. I think I said Crypt Keeper by mistake. And has undead hands just holding onto the wheel in the back. And I like this because I have a fascination for 3-wheeled vehicles, so that's pretty cool. And finally, my number 1 recommended Skylander for Superchargers is that I have indeed the rare limited produced Thrillipede figure. This was my favorite figure in the game thus far, and he was the last character to get released. To find the regular version, you're going to have to really bend your back, break your back hard to find it, because he was available on ToysRUs.com for a short amount of time, and now ever since they never released this regular version outside of online, in stores. So the only way you can get him is if you get his kind of ugly, excited Thrillipede variant. He's holding like these little bug grenades in his hands, 2 of them. In the concept art, it showed he was supposed to have like a 3rd one in his hand, but it's not in there. He was even supposed to have like a little piece of the grenade, just the trigger in his mouth, but he doesn't on the actual figure for some reason. He has this very nice metallic green finish on his body, which I like. And he has this upwards arm pose, his hand up high, and he's of the life element. I like this guy because I like insects, and he has a lot of cool attacks. Like, he can go into this cocoon and be invulnerable, he can throw his grenades, and he can punch enemies with his 4 arms. His vehicle is the Sky Vehicle, the Buzzwing. Right now it's in its closed form, and this is easily one of the best vehicles in the game. Press the button in the back, and the wings just pop out, and the wings start flapping. He is arguably the best character in the game for Superchargers, because when he's in the cocoon, he's like completely invulnerable. He can't take any damage whatsoever. And So he's definitely the one I recommend the most out of all these characters. But he's sadly the hardest to find. So there you have it. That's my top 6 recommended Skylanders for Skylanders Superchargers. And I am looking excited and very looking forward to Skylanders Imaginators, the next game coming out this October. Tune in for reviews on that game, and I'm going to review the figures. And this is Dark Emissary 617 signing out.